Let's talk about Billie Eilish's style evolution. Fairly recently, she unveiled her new look, which stirred up quite a bit of controversy. And it was probably one of the most dramatic, fast style evolutions we have seen in a very long time. And because of that, there is a lot that we can learn and take away from it. So here are 4 things that we can learn from Billie Eilish's style evolution. If you are new here, I'm Courtney St. Clair, your transformative style coach. I help empower, educate, and inspire women to level up their confidence and become magnetic by leveraging the power of style and feminine energy. So recently I took to my Instagram stories to get some feedback on how you all felt about Billie's new look. First, I showed you a picture of her old style and asked what your perceptions of her were then. And you said things like angsty teen, an artist, a feminist, modest. And then I showed a picture of her new look and asked what your perceptions of her are now based on this new look. And you said things like glamorous, womanly, sexy, all things that are very contrasting to her old look. So I asked how you felt when she first unveiled her new look, and you were divided. 50% of you were shocked and confused, while the other 50% were cheering her on. But when I asked how you felt now that you've had some time to absorb this change, the vast majority of you were on board with it. So what can we learn from this? The first is that people have a perception of you based on how you show up looking like. And when your outer image is in alignment with your messaging, people have an opportunity to really connect with you. And when you show up out of alignment with your message, it confuses people. Billie had said for a long time that her look was because she was a kid and she didn't want her body to be sexualized. She did hint that when she turned 18, she might play around with some different styles of clothing, but I don't think anyone expected her to show up looking like a pinup girl right out the gate. She went from don't sexualize me, I'm a kid, to sexualize me because I'm a woman now. And people felt confused. Some might even felt a little bit betrayed. She made it seem as if she wanted to be known for more than just her body. And then when she turned 18, she threw all of that out the window. So all those fans that she had that loved that aspect about her, they pushed back. They felt like they didn't know her and her values anymore. People maybe expected her, to wear things that were a little bit more form-fitting, maybe show a little bit more skin, with some skirts or some sleeveless tops. But I don't think anybody expected her to show up full-on sex pot as quickly as she did. So what does this have to do with you? Well, the way that you show up looking like creates a brand for yourself. People assume things about you based on how you look as well. And those assumptions are solidified through your actions and your words. And when those things don't line up, or those things are constantly changing, it leaves people feeling confused. Imagine how confusing it would be to people if all of a sudden Billie covered up again and said, no, don't sexualize my body. And then a few months later, she showed up on the cover of a magazine again in lingerie. You would never have any idea what was going on, and it would be really hard to connect with her. It would be really hard to understand her values and what she's all about. And that's what it's like when you're constantly changing your style. It makes it difficult for people to connect with you. It makes it difficult to attract those soul-aligned people into your life. But if you have a rock-solid style and a rock-solid personal brand, and you do want to change, the good news is, and this is the second thing we can learn from Billie's style evolution, is that people's expectations can and will adjust. And if they don't, those people fall away, and that's okay, because not everybody in our lives are meant to be there for the entirety of our journey. And that's you. You are the only person, and that is part of your entire life journey. And that means the person that you need to be most concerned with pleasing is your damn self, right? Billie surely lost some fans when she unveiled this new look. And a lot of them that were shocked and confused at first adjusted. They just needed to see that Billie was fully embracing womanhood and her sexuality now, and that was going to be a part of her brand moving forward, and then they were here for it. When you make a change in your life or in your style, it's only natural that people will push back at first because they're going to feel like they're going to be left behind, and some will. But usually what happens is people's expectations will adjust if you remain consistent. This is something that I see all the time when women start putting forth effort and intention with their style. Those around them push back, asking like, well, why aren't you so dressed up? And that pushback is because people are worried that you are going to a party that they aren't invited to because they don't meet the dress code. But if you start consistently showing up dressed as your best self, those comments will stop because people will start to expect you to show up looking next level. And as for Billie, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see another dramatic style change from her somewhere in the future, because she's kind of set that expectation now going forward that doing kind of shocking and dramatic things could be part of her brand, and she definitely will not receive the same amount of pushback for the next one as she did for this one because of that. Which brings me to lesson number 3. You can do whatever the damn hell you please, whenever you damn well please, no matter what you have said in the past. You get to change your mind when it comes to your style, your values, your opinions, your thoughts, whenever you want, and you don't owe anybody an explanation for it, but you do need to be prepared for pushback. Billie was obviously very confident as a teen and even more confident as a woman. She was very sure of herself, and she was able to stand in her power through this seemingly overnight transition and through the pushback. But not everyone has that level of confidence yet, which brings me to lesson number 4. You can adjust people's expectations slowly. If Billie had have started with just some clothes that were a little bit more form-fitting, and then she showed a little bit more leg, and then a little bit more cleavage, and then, a year down the line, showed up on the cover of Vogue in lingerie, people more than likely would not have cared in the capacity that they did when she went from this to this, because it would have happened more gradually. People would have had time to adjust their expectations, and they kind of probably would have seen it coming rather than being totally blindsided from it. I had a woman come to me saying her dream style was more grunge, but she was worried how people would think if she just showed up one day super grunge. So my answer to her was, do it slowly. Start with something like incorporating darker nail polish or darker lipstick, and then add, some grungier accessories. And then maybe you start with the boots, and then so on and so forth. And yes, you might get a comment about your lipstick, but not near in the capacity that you would if you had just showed up full stop. And eventually you'll look in the mirror and you'll see the style that you always dreamed of, and people will have seen it coming as well. We saw this with Taylor Swift. She went from being a country sweetheart to a sexy pop star, but she made the transition slowly, right? When she started out, you saw her with jeans and cowboy boots, and then she wore the cowboy boots with sparkly dresses, and then she dropped the cowboy boots and just had the sparkly dresses. And at the same time, she made her country music a little bit more pop infused, and then eventually transitioned to just pop, and no one was surprised because we all saw it coming, right? She had adjusted her expectations slowly over time. So whatever approach you take to your personal style evolutions, whether it's dramatic and shocking or gradual, you just always want to make sure that your inside and outside message are in alignment in order to resonate and attract the right people at the right time in your journey through life, because this is not a journey that we're able to do alone. If you're looking for a little guidance, trying to figure out what kind of style will help make you magnetic to the right people, you can download my 11 Style Success Journal prompts for free. If you are catching this on IGTV, you can grab them at the link in my bio or send me a DM. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is down below. So I want to know how you feel about Billie's style. Did you prefer her old look or her new look more? Personally, myself, I think with both looks, she was rebelling. Her old look, she was rebelling against the sexualization of her body, And with her new look, she's rebelling against her old look. And I would love to just see her settle into her style. Because rebelling really doesn't set you free from anything. It just puts you into a different cage. True freedom comes from being able to authentically express yourself. And I could picture her in cool, funky prints and colors because it seems that's what she gravitated towards and liked, but just not with everything so oversized. Let me see some skin and curves and femininity and embrace that womanly side of you, but don't lose that playfulness that you had with all those fun colors. So let me know your thoughts in the comments.